Yes, indeed. This is Professor David Steinberg of SteinbergFiles.com with more news from Libya, where the news really just gets worse and worse. Not that I expect the American media to report it, of course. They're going to be busy running attack ads. The objective media is going to be busy running attack ads against Mitt Romney, but this is the news. Story from The Independent, a UK, United Kingdom publication, a place where they still do journalism, unlike the United States, where the media runs attack ads against Mitt Romney and publishes Obama administration press releases. On to the story, which also appears on the Drudge Report, and I'll link to it as well. America was warned of embassy attack, but did nothing. That's the headline. Here's what the story says. According to senior diplomatic sources, the U.S. State Department had credible information 48 hours before mobs charged the consulate in Benghazi and the embassy in Cairo that American missions may be targeted, but no warnings were given for diplomats to go on high alert and lockdown, under which movement is severely restricted. The U.S. administration, the story continues, is now facing a crisis in Libya. Sensitive documents have gone missing from the consulate in Benghazi, and the supposedly secret location of the safe house in the city, where the staff had retreated, came under sustained mortar attack. Other such refuges across the country are no longer deemed safe. Well, is there any support for any of this? As a matter of fact, yes. What happened when the Libya consulate was attacked is that American survivors evacuated and retreated to a safe house. But, and this is a story from NBC, and I'm shocked to see anything that's not written by the Obama administration on NBC News, but here it is. The American survivors had evacuated to an ostensibly secret location in an isolated villa, which came under intense and highly accurate mortar barrage. Well, if the Libyan terrorists, if the Islamic terrorists did not have access to secret documents, how would they know where the secret villa was? I really believe that the attack was planned, continued a Libyan official. He said, adding to suggestions by other Libyan officials that at least some of the hostility toward the American was the work of experienced combatants. Oh, you think? You really think? I thought it was just some Libyans mad at a movie. Well, that doesn't seem to be the case at all. Back to our story from The Independent. Senior officials are increasingly convinced that the ferocious nature of the Benghazi attack, in which rocket-propelled grenades were used. I'm sure, most people in Libya have a few of those lying around. No, they don't. Indicated it was not the result of spontaneous anger due to the video called Innocence of Muslims. In other words, the video had really nothing to do with it. Patrick Kennedy, Undersecretary of State, said he was convinced the assault was planned due to its extensive nature and the proliferation of weapons. This was a planned assault. The Obama administration had notice and did nothing. Further, there is growing belief that the attack was in revenge for the killing in a drone strike in Pakistan of Mohammed Hassan Qaid, an al-Qaeda operative from Libya, and was timed for the anniversary of September 11. Gee, you think? I've been saying that for days. I don't have any access to any kind of classified information, but you have attacks in both Egypt and Libya on embassies that occur on September 11th, of all days. And somehow it just doesn't seem coincidence to me. But and the administration had the option of having armed Americans guarding the embassy, guarding the consulate in Benghazi, which would have saved lives, and they didn't do it. Instead, they left security to the Libyans. How did that work out? Well, according to security sources and according to witnesses, little defense was put up by the 30 or more local guards meant to protect the staff. That's, of course, because, as President Obama has assured us, the Libyans all love us so much. Instead, we have a witness that says the security people just all ran away, and the people in charge were the young men with guns and bombs. Now, I know you reporters aren't accustomed to doing journalism, and I don't expect anyone to ask President Obama this question, but it certainly won't come up in the 60 Minutes Obama infomercial planned for Sunday. But, just in case you want to be a journalist, here's a question you can ask the president. I know you're not accustomed to doing this, so let me ask this nice and give this to you nice and slow, okay? Mr. President, was the administration on any kind of notice that an attack was possible in Libya? And if he says no, then your follow-up question, again, nice and slow for you folks who aren't used to being reporters, is your follow-up question is, then how did such a planned attack, with such sophisticated weapons, occur? Are you saying, Mr. President, that ordinary Americans have, are you saying, Mr. President, that ordinary Libyans have weapons like these to use against Americans? And that's a start at any rate. I know, of course, you guys are not going to do this. You're going to run another story about how Mitt Romney's statements are a disaster, and that's what you're going to focus on. But here's something you ought to ask. If the administration was the administration on notice? And if they were, why didn't they do anything? Is it because the president is more concerned with campaigning than he is with national security? This is Professor David Steinberg of the SteinbergFiles.com.